Hello and welcome to CloudDead's official YouTube channel. Here you will find various videos related to cloud and futuristic technologies like big data, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning and security that will help you in getting more equipped with the upcoming technological skills and to enhance your learning skills. In this video, we'll go over the brief about the webinar and introduction to the security, how it is evolving, and the opportunities in the field. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel by clicking the red button below and then hit the bell icon to receive regular cloud training updates on our channel.
Let me talk about the organization first. We are CloudDead. We are based out in India and India, UK, and US. Right, we have been operational since last nine and a half years now. Have delivered to about 75 odd clients and been here and been delivering trainings on cloud and on cloud technologies to about 350,000 professionals. Right, we are a fleet of 90 plus cloud architects who are not only the consultant but also the trainers and have been part of about 100 odd projects. We are headquartered in Bangalore, India, but we have our operations in UK and US as well. We are very proud to say that we are very few partners who deliver Microsoft on Microsoft technologies. Right, we are gold Microsoft partners and been awarded with 2020 Partner of the Year globally. We were the first in Asia and a runner-up in globally, right? So that's about the organization. We also are here to facilitate the very important challenge that industry is facing right now, for which Microsoft has taken a step and introduced 4 new certificates in that particular area, which is the security, and also choose to follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, as well as on Twitter. What we are going to talk about in this particular webinar is how we can prepare for SC-200, right? That is been offered by Microsoft. Right, I'm going to also touch base upon some of the information about SC-200, how the exam is curated, what are the number of questions that I should expect, what are the types of questions I should expect, what are some of the services that overpower the examination, and so on and so forth. Right, I'll talk about some of the important topics that has a good amount of weightage in the examination. And then we'll talk about Q&A and how to prepare in the next step, right? But why was Microsoft, such large organization, was intrigued to introduce a whole new vertical, a whole new specialty kind of certifications on security? A few slides from now on are going to answer that question for you, right? We are in an era where digital transformation continues apace for all the businesses, right? And to keep up with the competition as well as to provide the results for consumer, the companies have now started developing software and selling products which are online, right? The organizations must develop new digital capabilities and actually break down the data silos because data and informations are the lifeblood of the transformation, right? And data and information are the one who are going to increasingly attract the cyber criminal activity, right? The traditional security approaches, as we all know, have failed. Right, a hardened perimeter or what we call it as a privileged corporate network is at best a security blanket, and in the times that we are at, it is no longer in play, right? And it does not hold. The siloed on-premise tools and the data sets, they actually lack visibility, they actually lack correlation. They actually lack automation, right? And we can always say that, hey, you know what, to achieve something, I'll get one more tool. But paradoxically, adding more tools, it makes you less secure, right? The more tools you add, the more chances of doing some configuration mistake or making some configuration mistake that can expose your data over the globe, right? While an overwhelming sea of alerts and complexity, and even the talent shortage is there in the market for security. If I have to give away a number surrounding this here, there are about 3 million security personnels required in the market, and we are nowhere near to 3 million, right? And security personals or security professionals cannot be expected to solve all the problems at once and alone, which does mean that we may never have enough people or may never have enough resources to plug this gap, right? Why this gap has increased? When it comes to defending against cyber attacks, we all must consider the growing complexity of the digital estate of ours, right? And how actually we think about our assets and what we must defend against, right? This particular area or the estate that we have is a little bit different than what it was 5 or 10 years ago. The IT organizations are now finding themselves responsible for protecting a crisscross web of technologies and the technologies that they may not own, right? Again, that can be a thing like a user-owned mobile device that are used to access corporate data, or user-owned wristwatches nowadays that are used to access corporate data. It also includes systems and devices that your organization's partner, your customers use to access the information that your organization is providing. If I have to just once again give a number away, there are about 7 billion internet connected devices that are in use worldwide. And this 7 billion internet connected devices do not include the laptops and mobile devices, right? Other than the laptops and the mobile devices, you have about 7 billion devices that one or the other organization has to manage. And any one of this can actually be a point of vulnerability to your overall estate of the digital onboarding, right? This actually changes the game when it comes to security. Like I said in the previous slide as well, you can no longer draw perimeters around your organization, right? You have to expand above and beyond your corporate network, right? And on top of that, the attackers, they have also matured, right? And their attacking techniques are also evolving now, correct? We have also noticed the increased of maturity in this attackers' business models, right? Where new criminal entrants are able quickly become effective and using attack kits and some other models, right? So previously we had, I mean, the most important four models that we have seen so far is, let's say, first one is the mass distribution malware, right? Your mass distribution malware, this actually have been with us for a lot of decades now. And if you can see there, after a lot of time, this mass distribution malware have evolved into the malwares that are targeted towards a specific organization or towards a specific individual of an organization, right? It has been a mainstream attack in since years now that a particular individual of an organization is attacked, right? A mobile device was stolen of a CXO of the organization. The attacker was able to crack open the mobile device and had access to the data of that particular organization. These are some of the most common news that emerge in the market, right? In the past few years, we have also seen the increased investment into the evasion of file-based malware, file-based detection using PowerShell to actually load the attack code directly into the memory and maybe some other methods, which is actually not using a file at all. Fileless malware have come into play. And recently, the the rise of an attack campaigns that is seen, which actually involves no malware, right? How will you defend an attack which doesn't have malware at all, right? These frequently targeted online software services like Office 365, right? And they involve methods like social engineering or credentials theft or even native platform capabilities such as document download or forged email address or forwarding rules or even the PowerShell scripts. This has opened up challenges for the organizations to not only control the infrastructure that their employees are utilizing, but also control the identity and the applications that their employees are working with. It may be an IoT device sitting in the factory, an IoT device in handheld device, which is by a delivery agent, or wristwatches or smart lights or smart glasses, whatever you can think of. Everything, if your organizational employee is using it, it will add up to the incidents in your haystack, right? Now, your own organization have started battling with the digital startups, right? These are some of the IT transformation components that support the business's digital transformation. And again, this will provide both challenges as well as opportunities for the information security, right? While the challenges are significant, there are a massive amount of opportunity to solve these long-standing security problems with the next gen computing that Azure or Microsoft 365 has to offer, right? The slide actually demonstrates a classic enterprise security strategy with a network perimeter and a mobile device management component bolted on it, right? Now, to be competitive in the marketplace, businesses actually are seeking to transform using powerful technologies. The ability to have and the availability of cloud, mobile, and Internet of Things, they are actually fueling major disruptions in one settled security market by putting up by bringing up digital native startups, right? Those guys who leverage these new technologies and compete directly against the long-standing businesses, right? The existing organizations have to now start working towards adapting digital transformation, right? Adapting a new way to engage their customers, to empower the employees, to optimize the operation, and even offer the products to the customer, right? This actually instantiates a lot of different ways that each organization provide unique challenges to the security personals, right? The first one is the software as a service adoption, right? To increase the collaboration and the agility, right? Software as a service such as Office 365 or Dropbox or Salesforce or ServiceNow, right? They provide rapid value without many of the challenges of traditional software development, traditional software deployment, and even traditional software maintenance. While security doesn't have to update this software, they do need to be aware of their use, assess their trustworthiness, and even manage the available controls that this software as a services have to offer. The demand for first-class mobile experience also have emerged into the market. Businesses and the end users are increasingly getting a choice of which device or which applications they can use to get their jobs done. Again, this requires security to better meet their demands for excellent user experience on a secure mobile device. The business users needs to provide full functionality on the applications that creates value on the corporate data beyond the limited functionality emails or just some of the productivity applications that used to be there in the past with a lot of mobile device management providers, right? Another thing, the IoT, like I said, Internet of Things is actually proliferating, and the manageability and visibility of such devices are so different than our normal personal computers or mobile devices, right? These IoT devices actually have higher volume and a very limited functionality. There is very limited resources that can run on these IoT agents. Right? These IoT agents cannot have our traditional, these IoT devices cannot have our traditional agents installed on them. And the frequency in which these devices generate the telemetry data for us to process. All of these challenges have come up with cloud being a requirement to support the analysis of this IoT device and even managing them. Even if IT isn't adopting the cloud platforms and infrastructure for let's say its own value propositions, a lot of new IoT architectures, they are powered by cloud services to collect the report, to gather the information, security information, and to evaluate the trust between the device and the application to control such devices, right? All of this expansion of estate has led us to provide a modern enterprise whose resource and the risks are no longer controlled or defined by an IP range. Right? A lot of challenges are there, which brings up a new era to security, right? And these are the ones that also bring in a lot of security opportunities to leverage the massive amount of storage that cloud has to offer, right? In contrast to what we can ever give to a long-standing classic security tool. Correct. Let's move on towards some more fact checks. Right now, this opportunity, how is Microsoft leveraging this opportunity? Right, as Microsoft, they work with a lot of CIOs at their customers to constantly find the priorities and the key vulnerabilities that industries and organizations are facing. right? There is CISO workshops that includes some of the learnings that Microsoft imparts to the CISOs, which are in the area of security management, which allows CISOs to know that there has to be increase in visibility and control over the hybrid enterprise that they are heading, right? And they also are provided with the integrated guidance and automated policy for policy enforcement for monitoring. There is identity and access management webinars or recommendations that are given to CISOs that, hey, you know what, your identity is the new control plane. It has to be kept most strict and most stringent, and it is way better in protecting your assets than your network. The same workshops tell CISOs that, hey, information protection is something that you should think about. You should think about adding automatic classification. You should think about adding persistent encryption across multiple devices. You should think about having continuous monitoring of your data across multiple types of devices, right? Devices such as cloud services, USB sticks, and even your corporate assets. And this is the same workshop which pushes CISOs to also have threat protection in play. Right? Microsoft has actually built modern detection, response, and recovery capabilities in the rapidly raising attacker cost into the rapidly raising attacker's cost, which is actually powered by trillions of signals that Microsoft's intelligent security graph increases, right? So let's talk about the fundamental transformations that are there in information security, right? Information security actually there are multiple departments which are operating in the world that have changed vastly since the current generation of security best practices were established, right? Let's talk about some of the key trends that stand out globally, right? The first one is it says that no longer enterprise IT have stayed in the perimeter. The enterprise IT is now cloud hybrid. All of us are expecting enterprise infrastructure like data centers and networks to inevitably be a hybrid of on-premise as well as cloud for a longer time to come. The attraction of cloud technology, the value proposition, and the difficulty or disadvantages of fully shutting down the legacy on-premise technology drives this hybrid approach. Right. Another trend that I have seen personally is technology mobility and volume is actually exploding. I'm so sorry. The growth of mobile devices will continue as will the demand for a first-class experience with the native applications. Right? The enterprises also will have to start managing the variance in trustworthiness of those mobile devices to better balance the risk as well as the productivity. Right? The third area that we have seen that has stood out is perseverance towards digital transformation and IoT, right? Businesses have digitally transformed to complete and to compete actually with the cloud native startups, right? Like I said, this is something that is going to drive the usage of IoT. This is something that is going to drive the consumption of cloud in terms of storage, in terms of processing, in terms of analysis, in terms of working with blockchain, right? The IoT space, like I said in the previous slide as well, it creates a different challenge for you. You will need to find out a new way of managing your IoT device. The enterprise PC security challenges, the PC security strategies will not apply to this IoT device, right? Application development security also have emerged to be a new area where security is going towards, right? And both the attack surface, because of a lot of devices are coming into play, both the attack surface of a modern enterprise and the threat volume alongside the sophistication of this threat volume or of sophistication of the threats are continuing to rise, right? So we have observed that attackers tend to follow the rational behaviors, right? They have to manage their return, right? Their return, which is the successful attacks for their investment, which is the time and the resources that they have spent on the attack, on developing or from developing or acquiring tools to learning them and then implementing them, right? Most attackers tend to favor the simplest and the cheapest means to achieve the goal. And most attackers will choose a pre-proven method, which is the existing tool or a freely available toolkit before actually they start developing a new tool and a technology. The difficulty is that many well-funded attackers, like a well-known name that is there in the attackers field is nation states, right, have already developed a large library of sophisticated tools that costs very little to use, and they are even willing to invest if it is necessary for some targets. Correct. Let's look at the other area. This is what is the change or transformation in the information security, right? Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the opportunity that it brings us, right? Monitoring and managing the hybrid cloud or digital and on-premise legacy asset, they require you to have visibility and control over your blind spots, right? And an identity based on a security parameter, right? It allows you to automatically, it allows you to have something which automates the policy monitoring and enforcement to improve your security management. And mind well, both of this can be done using endpoint security, which is Defender for endpoint, which is a very important aspect for your SC-200, right? We also have to be agile and efficient in threat protection. The opportunity have got us to be agile in terms of defending against the threats. As the threats grow, so does the signal volume and the difficulty to process those signals in a fast-paced manner, right? You should increase the efficiency of your organization and agility of your organization on how you prevent, detect, and respond to these threats using the limited available resources that you have. Modern preventive controls, automation, and even integrated tools can radically change your effectiveness in this area, right? That's one more opportunity. And finally, finding and protecting the intellectual property and regulated data is something that is again very, very important aspect. Information protection is very, very critical in the age of sophisticated threats and the massive variety of devices, applications, and services where data actually can travel. It is critical to be able to identify, find, classify, or label the data and tie it to the security protection with the data itself. the services like Defender for Endpoint, Cloud F Security, Azure Sentinel, Azure Security Center allows you to work with this, which are the primary drivers or which are the primary services for our SC-200 examination. Right? Classification is something that allows you to label the data, protecting the data, which allows you to work on this classification, and those services can have it done for you. Right? Like I said previously as well, this slide is about some kind of some numbers to be given. Right? There are some estimations that have come into play that in 2025, the world will create and replicate 163 zettabytes of data, representing a 10-fold increase in the amount of data that was created in the year 2016. Right? In the past, organizations primarily only dealt with documents and emails. Now they are actually dealing with instant messages, the IMs, the text messages, the video files, the images, right? Plus the beast of Internet of Things. Right? To target this, Microsoft has come forward to build security personnels who are expert on a specific security area, which is divided across the 6 certifications in security, compliance, and identity that Microsoft has to offer. Right? We are here together to talk about one such certification, the services that the certifications include, and some of the important services that can allow you to kickstart and that can allow you to accelerate your training towards SC-200 and your clearing your exam towards SC-200. Right? The services such as the certifications like fundamental certifications like SC-900 to some role-based certifications like your AZ-500, which deals about Azure Security Engineer, your MS-500, which deals on your Microsoft 365 Security Administration, SC-200, which we are here to talk about. It is something that talks about your Security Operations Analyst, the SC-300, which talks about Identity and Access Management Admin, and the SC-400, which talks about information protection admin. Right? What we are going to talk about today is the SC-200 examination. What I'm going to talk about in the next couple of slides is how the exam is curated, what are the number of questions that you may expect, what is the passing criteria in the examination, what type of questions you may get, right? Where you can go and appear for the examination, and how CloudDet can help with that. All of that is going to be in the next few slides. So stay put to get some more exciting schedules about our SC-900 and SC-200 courses that we are that we have in the last slide.
Now that we have completed these topics, you can get the links to the additional resources for preparation in the description box below. To receive timely updates about our upcoming training sessions, study guides, exam prep material, giveaways, and other resources to help you upskill, follow us on our pages on different channels. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with your friends if you found it useful. To watch the next module, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to be notified.